Hey, you like my hair? Is this the best death metal album ever? Well, let's find out. I think I've been in Thailand for too long. Okay, so let's get serious and talk about the third studio album from seminal Floridian death metal band Deicide, or Deicide, however you wish to say it. Produced in 1995 by legendary death metal producer Scott Burns at Morrisound Studio, who also worked with seminal premier death metal bands such as Death, Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse. He even produced an album by Sepultura from Brazil. So Deicide are from Florida, which is a kind of breeding ground for premier death metal. And Deicide fall under the subgenre of satanic death metal due to the imagery that they use and their lyrical content. This particular album starts off with a bash over the head with 5 cymbal chokes combined with 5 guitar chugs, launching straight into a groovy, odd grouped riff of 8s and 9s and 8s and 9s. But they get away with it. The thing about odd groupings and odd time signatures is that if the musicianship is good enough and the song is good enough, you can still make it groove. The second track is entitled Christ Denied, which is a straight up headbanger using semiquavers, but it's also in odd groupings, which is a feature of the album. The third track is a personal favourite of mine entitled When Satan Rules This World. It's in triplets, you won't be surprised to know if you follow this channel. I feel like I'm always talking about triplets on this channel, but if you listen clearly, after the intro you can clearly hear Glenn Benton rumbling along on his bass. It's such a great riff. Check this out. Open the door, Jehovah, you whore. Respect to Glenn Benton, he is the frontman and bass player of Deicide. So he's not only singing, or if you can call it singing, doing vocals, he's also playing bass in odd groupings and odd time signatures. So respect to Glenn Benton. Also, he looks absolutely cool on this album. When I was a kid and I saw him on this album with his long black hair and his perfect beard, I wanted to look exactly like that. I still can't even grow a beard, so I'm still kind of jealous, but I'm not jealous anymore because he's all receding and he's fat and he's old. So, you know, time catches up with everyone. And the other thing about Glenn Benton back in the old days is that he was an absolute legend. He staked an inverted cross into his head, and he said that he was going to kill himself by the age of 33 because that was when Jesus killed himself. Well, as it transpired, that never happened. As mentioned earlier, he got fat and old. But if he had done that, he would have gone down in metal history as being an absolute martyr. He would have been up there with Chuck Schuldiner, probably even higher. Maybe not musically, but philosophically. I absolutely adore the drummer from Deicide, who's called Steve Ashim. He is so tight in drumming terms. I've seen Deicide twice, and Deicide as a unit play extremely tight. They are very impressive to see live. And Glenn Benton was wearing some kind of spiked outfit and slagging off the audience, and the audience was slagging them off back. It was a fun night. So where was I about the drummer? Oh yeah, Steve Ashim, very good drummer. I'd like to give you an example on the track Kill the Christian. So it's in like a triplety feel, like quaver triplets like this. But he doubles up every now and again. He does like little flurries of semi-quaver triplets. So he's going, which sounds really good and it grooves. And also every couple of bars, to mark the music out, he'll do the same pattern or a similar pattern using the semiquavers on the hands. So he'll do a couple of bars on the feet, and he'll do the fill. Check this out. The album artwork is white and it shows Jesus underneath a shroud with some blood coming through. A good thing about Deicide is they have lots of good symbols, like a trifixion that the fans like to have tattooed on them. My friend Gordon, who's now sadly passed away, he was a big guy and he had a big trifixion on his forearm. Most people had the white t-shirt, but I was lucky enough to have the black one from a live t-shirts in Birmingham, and on that particular day it was the only one that they had and I just happened to buy it. So my friends in Pigeon Park were really jealous of my t-shirt because I had the black one with all Jesus entrails coming out, which I've still got in England. It's a treasured possession. The guitars are by two brothers called Eric Hoffman and Brian Hoffman. The guitar solos really work, although I do think they rely on dive bombing techniques too much. It does add to the atmosphere of the album, but I would rather actually hear some technical guitar solos rather than kind of resorting to like gimmicks, for want of a better word, or kind of guitar effects. But I can't take anything away from this album. It is perfect. Other standout tracks on this album are all of them, because it's such a short album. I remember you could get like 3 Deicide albums on one tape, so the album's over really quickly, and this album is packed from the beginning to the end of just really good riffs and really good groove. There's a couple of samples on there. The album opens with a sample. I think it's from The Last Temptation of Christ. I think it's that movie with Willem Dafoe. I think the song Trickle Betrayed has also got a really good sample where they put like the effects on it. It sounds like really kind of spooky and evil. It's also like a really nice moment on the album. If I had to pick another track, I'd probably choose Trickle Betrayed just for that reason. So if you want a standout satanic death metal album, which is quite possibly the best one ever recorded in musical history, then this is the one.